Welcome, welcome, welcome. As I like to say every week when I make my presentation, I'm still Dr. Arnold Nerenberg. And it's my pleasure and my privilege to present to you a lifetime of experiences and inspirations to help uplift you and your loved ones for the rest of your lives. That's truly my intention. And my lifetime is over 83 years, so I bring you a rich tapestry of experiences. And then I've been in the field of psychology for over 50 years, so I bring all that as well to you. And I would have to say, as my father said to me, son, I have a lot of good advice to give you, not because I've been so smart, I've been so stupid. So I bring to you the stupidity, the mistakes I've made, and to help you not make those mistakes. So my training, my experiences, my stupidity and mistakes, all to serve you and uplift you and to help you. And it's my privilege to do so. The title of today's presentation is, When You're Very Angry at the One You Love Most. When you are very angry at the one you love most. First thing I'm going to say is, it has happened already, possibly is happening right now, and will happen again. You're going to get whoever you love most, you're going to become very angry. And that person most likely very angry in return. And guess what? For that moment, most of you, 99% of you, will forget you love that person. The person that you love so much, you will forget you love that person at that time. And most likely, 99% of the other people, the other one that you love the most, he or she will forget that they love you. It gets totally forgotten for a period of time. Could be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, a day, 10 days, a month, could be whatever. It's forgotten. I'm going to talk to you about the most honorable way to deal with that. First of all, let me say, when it comes to infidelity, it's best to just end the relationship. Forgive the person. Say to yourself, I release you to your destiny and I wish you well. It's best not to try to work that out. Even if you forgive the person, you're never going to trust the person. It's going to be miserable. So this is for situations where that hasn't happened. You may even love the person that cheated on you, but you're not going to trust that person. That'll be a living nightmare. So for everybody's sake, it's best to end that. For your sake, his sake, for her sake, it's just better. Because the trust will not be ever there again. Now, there are some exceptions to that? Rarely. Can happen, but it's very rare. Rare forgiveness, people can do it. Trusting is another issue that's pretty tough. All right, so given situations where you love the other person, they love you, the bridge in the honor teachings, you have the 4 commands of honor. I used to call the 4 commandments of honor. I'm now experimenting with calling them the 4 commands of honor because you're commanding the honor within yourself to arise in the consciousness in terms of thoughts, words, and actions. So the 4 commandments of honor: I wish you well. I take full responsibility for co-creating my reality and my problems. I'm grateful for the power I gain from hardship. And the one of 2 depends if you believe in God or not. If you believe in God as I do, God, your wish is my only wish. If you don't believe in God or don't want to address God, I seek always to serve my highest values. Now, repeating those 4 commandments, those 4 commands of honor 3 times a day will help you in dealing with your anger at the one you love most. It'll help you with it because you get away from the blaming. You'll see how if you have any responsibility for co-creating it, you'll be wishing the person well. You're going to be serving your highest values, serving God's will. And you're grateful that you're going to be getting stronger and more wisdom from this. So you're applying that already starts modifying the experience of the anger. And when you get angry like that, a very common thought is, I got to get away from this person, or I just want to end this relationship, or I don't want to put up with this anymore. These are very common reactions. I'm just not going to take it anymore. Very common. So those are the thoughts. I'm going to give you a way to reach across that. I'm going to show you how to do it. And it's going to help you a lot. Tremendously. In addition to the four commands of honor, which you want to repeat 3 times a day for life, we have what's called the bridge. I call it the bridge. It's a bridge from the realm of the idea of honor and the honor teachings to the realm of reality and practical application. The bridge is this. What is the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? What is the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? So within the way of honor, we're no longer looking for happiness. We're looking for honor. It's a paradigm shift. We're looking for honor. Which, incidentally, is a foundation for true happiness. Honor is the foundation for true happiness. You can't be truly happy without honor. You can have fun, entertainment, enjoyment, but not true happiness. So, saying the 4 commandments of honor and the bridge, keeping in mind that the repetition is preparation for application. And that's the key word, application. Because I'm going to tell you how to do this. And right now, you're going to think, oh, that sounds great. I believe in it. When the time comes that you're angry, you're not going to want to do what I'm going to tell you right now. You're not going to want to do it unless you're really committed to the way of honor. You will not do what I'm going to tell you now. You're not even going to want to do it. You may even forget to do it. When you're very angry, that's what will happen. But by the repetition of the 4 commandments of honor and the repetition of the bridge, plus we're talking about the 7 laws of love. So you want to at least be able to use one of these. It's more than 7 laws. I started with 7 and ended up with 10. Fluctuates, depends what I remember or what new things I come up with. I love you. I adore you. I cherish you. I appreciate you. I like you. I respect you. I'll do anything for you. I'm totally committed to you. I'll always be loyal to you. Next to God, you're my first priority always. That was 10 laws of love. I like to use I love you in that. Now keep in mind, let's look at the reality. You love that other person. And when you're not upset, there's nothing wrong going on, you know that that person loves you. So if you're a man, you love her, and you know she loves you. So woman, you know you love him, and you know he loves you. That's foundational to what we're going to do now. So watch. Something is said. Maybe the person really disrespected you, maybe even in front of other people. And you're really upset. Or maybe they didn't say anything disrespectful, but you took it at a negative way. You read into it, something that wasn't even there. In either case, you're angry. You're really, really angry at that person. Very angry. Or you felt abandoned by the person. They were paying attention to somebody else when you wanted the attention. You're really hurt and very angry. Underneath that anger is always vulnerability. You feel hurt, neglected, abandoned, inferior, jealous, overwhelmed. Always that's underneath. So, most people deal with the pain they have in that anger by attempting to cause pain in the other, retaliation, attack hard, hurt that person, so that then you feel, revenge, and then you feel relieved. Revenge is used by people who are weak. That's weakness. That means the person does not have the maturity, the presence of mind, the commitment to the way of honor to reach out in a loving way because that person loves you. But because of their weakness, they can't do it. Or in most of your cases, you can't do it because of your weakness, your lack of maturity, your lack of commitment to the way of honor. But if you're committed 100% to the way of honor, you'll remember what I'm going to tell you. You will remember. Your other, the spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, most likely, since they're not in this program, will not remember. So you have to carry the weight of the unity on you. Okay, watch what I'm going to do now. Person said something, and you hear the words that what they said. You see the facial expression, the tone. You see it. You can relive it. It's right there in all its ugliness. And then you go, I love you. I love you so much. I adore you. I love you. I love you. And I know you love me. I love you. You go into it. You breathe light right into that darkness. I love you. I love you so much. I really do. You're putting that light into that mist, into that darkness. It's doable. You can do it. You can do it. Sing that in. That will start lightening it up. Now, there could be other waves coming on you, and you're going along and say, wow, how could she say that? How could she do that? And you can start getting yourself worked up and feel hurt and want to say things, whatever. And you have to go back. I love you. I love you so much. I love you. I adore you. And I know you love me. We love each other. Puts a light into it. There's a light in there. It'll save you from the darkness. Now, the other person, if they don't have this knowledge, they don't have the commitment to the way of honor, they won't be able to pull themselves out right away. Typically, they can't do it. Typically, you can't do it. We can't do it, typically. But this method I'm showing you speeds up the recovery and the return to normalcy and dignity and being yourself. Being your true self, which is noble. Your true identity is nobility. I know you love me. I love you. So you can't go into your head and just tell yourself things. It's not going to work. You can't just go in your head and tell yourself things. It's not going to work. You have to see it in your mind's eye. The darkness, the cloud, the ugliness, the whole thing. And go in. I love you. I love you. You go into it. You can do it. You can do it. But you have to be totally committed to doing this. This is not for the weak. This is for only the people who are 100% committed to the way of honor. If you enjoy your anger and you're like, you love to hate, I just can't stand this person, and you really like that, you like that more than your own life, you like that more than your own honor, best to you. You know it's killing you, but you may not care. But if you're strong enough, and remember, you got to go to repetition as preparation for the application. I love you, and I know you love me. It's not a way to speak to somebody you love, but I know you love me. I know you just forgot momentarily. This is it. This is what will deliver you from the darkness, the mist of forgetfulness, the mist of forgetting your love. It'll put light into the darkness. Okay, now I'm going to open this up for comments and questions. You know, everybody always loves to hear what other people have to say. People benefit as much or even more from hearing what all you lovely, wonderful people have to say, even as much or more than what I have to say, because then you feel less alone and it expands your perspective. So for the sake of yourself and the sake of each other, I encourage you to speak up, to ask whatever question you want to ask, to make whatever comment you want to make. And the floor is open to you now.
Hi, Dr. Nerenberg.
Yes, who is this?
It's Jan.
Jan. Oh, Jan. Welcome, Jan.
Hi, everybody. I just, comment on today's topic. I can definitely say that I was one of those people that, they take a jab at you, you jab right back. Especially with my relationship, me and my husband have been together. Gosh, we're going on 20 years. 20 years together, 15 married. In the beginning of our relationship, we were young. We were 20 when we met, and he would do things that I felt were hurting me, and I'm sure I hurt him, but he just never said anything. And no matter how much I thought I was explaining to him my feelings, it seemed like he just didn't get it and would constantly do whatever it was that was hurting me. So it came to the point where I was like, okay, apparently you're not understanding my words. So let's see if you can understand my actions. And I would literally reciprocate everything he was doing to kind of show him like, okay, well, let's see if you like what you've been doing to me.
Jan, did that work?
It worked. It worked. It did not feel good. It didn't feel good because I know that I myself hated that. And to know that I was participating in something that I myself did not believe in and was very against, it made me feel like dirt. It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't like anybody was cheating or anything
yes,
like that.
I understand. We're talking about everything outside of that. But here's the thing. Did he stop doing it?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
And
so it didn't work. It didn't work.
It didn't work. No, it didn't work. The thing with us, and I'm sure it's not the same with everybody, but the thing with us was there was such a huge disconnect in our communication. And I'll be honest with you, the time that it started really repairing itself was when we had our first daughter. Because then we were starting to notice how each of us were speaking to her. And we're trying to, elaborate things to her so that she'll understand. And, at the end of the night when she's in bed, we'd sit there and talk and say, I really liked how you said that. I really liked how you explained that. And so we were trying to not only figure out how to speak to our daughter, but to speak to each other. And when we started doing that, especially because, my husband and I have opposite schedules, we spend the weekends, late at night every weekend, we spend the weekends just sitting there and catching up. And it became to the point where we were like, I don't like how you speak to me sometimes because you're always saying you. It's like you're pinning me for something. And I don't like it because then I get defensive. And then I'll say, well, you come at me when I'm angry and then I don't have a moment to breathe. So then I'm just like lashing out, and it took some time. But eventually we figured, we got to figure out how we're going to improve our communication. Literally, once we figured out our triggers, and once we figured out like, hey, let's not talk to mom right now. Like, she's really upset about something. We'll give her a day or two, because if we talk to mom right now, it's going to come out, and then later on she's going to feel guilty.
Let me interrupt you. So, key point is that lashing back out, trying to teach him a lesson, didn't work, and it felt bad to you. Is that correct?
It did.
Yeah.
100%.
And that's what most people, they lash out. They say, well, let me show you what it feels like. And a person typically doesn't go, oh, now I know how it feels, so I'm going to stop doing it to you. That's very rare. Oh, thank you. You've shown me what I was doing. I didn't know. You've educated me. I won't do it anymore. That's 1 in a million. Most of the people just get really upset when you're doing it, and they feel victimized. So the failure of that is key. Failure to that is key. It's amazing how through the birth of your daughter has started turning it around. So you both were lashing out at each other. You've loved him at that time, and he loved you also. And still you were forgetting your love during those moments. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the method I'm giving you is where you don't forget.
Yeah,
It's
I think that's when we hit a really rough patch at some point where we were kind of like, what are we doing? And then we kind of sat down and said, are we still going to do this, or are we going to fix it? And at that point, we were like, no, we're going to fix it. We're not throwing this away. It's too good. You know, when it's good, it's great. When it's bad, it just needs some work. So
well.
that's when we were open
Here's
to
the
our
thing.
conversation.
Here's the thing. Here's the point. How much people love each other. That he's the one you love most, and you're the one he loves most. Is that correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, now that's what we're talking about. Yet, in the midst of those episodes, you would forget momentarily that you love him, and he momentarily would forget he loves you. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Now, so at those moments, what I'm advocating, and that what works, by the way of honor, by applying the teachings, you're going in, you're looking at that person, and you go, I love you. I love you so much. I love you. And I know you love me. That's the honorable thing to do. You don't define your life at that moment by all this negativity, this disliking, this rage, this anger. It doesn't define it. That's key. So if you're able to go, you may or may not be able to communicate with the person at that moment. But if you could, you would say something like this. Look, I love you so much. I know you love me so much. I don't want us to get enveloped in this. I love you, sweetheart. Now, some people can't respond to that. Some people are so caught up in a storm they can't respond. But I'm just saying that something that could be said, maybe shouldn't be said right away. Some people need some time to kind of collect themselves, because there are people who are so weak they cannot respond to love, rationality, anything. As a matter of fact, some people are so weak that if you express love during that time, they'll kick you. Oh, yeah, sure, you love me. Yeah, get out of here. They'll go like that because they're lost. They're that weak. You have no idea how weak people are. I'm talking about good people. I'm not talking about bad people. I'm talking about good people are that weak who will actually kick you when you do it. So sometimes they need some time to calm down, and then you might be able to speak to them in a really reconciling way. But you have to know that other. Some people you could do it, but it's rare. Thank you for your input, Jan. Perfect input. Perfect. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you, doctor.
You're most welcome.
Do you find that some of the things the couples that you work with, what they're arguing about, has been blown out of proportion?
So the question is, are things what people argue about typically blown out of proportion? Always. Always. The thing gets, people are overreacting rationally or typically irrationally so. And you don't want to get caught in that storm. It is a storm. It is a darkness. And I'm giving you the tools using the 4 commands of honor, the bridge, and using the laws of love, at least one of them. One of the 10 laws of love that I just gave you. I like to use I love you. That helps to bring it back in perspective, because the perspective is, this is going to pass. I loved you before it, I loved you after, and I haven't forgotten my love during it. Honor demands that you remember your love during the episode. And if the person is open to it and you think it's wise, you express the love during the episode. That's the way of honor. That's honorable. You go, what's the most honorable thing to think, say, and do? That's the answer. Very good question, Hugh. Thank you. Well, it's been my pleasure and my privilege to present to you when you are very angry at the one you love most.
The sea of destiny is in your deepest struggle. God's will and mine be one, and I wish you well. You are co-creator, respectfully real. There's a way in the valley that turns weakness to steel. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow. I pledge my love all the days of my life. I pledge my soul to all that is good. I pledge my heart to my brothers and sisters who I join in the light, leave a legacy of honor. We're known through all eternity. From strife we gain power, clothed in grace and love, disciples of honor. All the days of our lives refuse the way of shame. We wish nobody harm, have no one to blame. Your high calling will be done, and pure eyes now glow. In darkness crave the good, like waters from the desert flow.